Our new student, Hayden Farrar. Please clap it for Hayden. Hayden comes from the beautiful country of Canada, and I still remember our first interview. You didn't know much about global jazz. You just like, I just want to come be there and be with you guys. And
you also didn't see that I was wearing pajamas.
And we really need a very good bass player. And we say, okay, this is not really the kind of interview we like, but I think we're gonna get it. But we got a nice chance with you. It was incredible to see you becoming part of this program so quickly and growing and doing really so many great things with a lot of different projects, not just yours. So I'm super excited to hear your project today. I know your advisor was Bruno Raberg, that is with us today. Please welcome Bruno. And Alan Chase, please clap again, is going to be our guest panelist. Hayden Farrar.
Thank you, Marco. I'd like to thank the panel first I'm looking forward to your insight and for putting up with this over air-conditioned room. And also to my peers, you're all a constant source of inspiration. So I'll get started. So I wrote a suite for Septet called Eternal Bliss, and I'm going to briefly just breeze through some of the goals that I had, and then I'm going to play the whole suite in its entirety. So the goals for this, for me, were to kind of dig into some 20th century classical composers and just try and assimilate some of the sounds they were using into my own compositions. The next concept that I wanted to explore were using strings for backgrounds, but kind of instead of using them just as pads, incorporating rhythms that would normally be played on percussion instruments, so they kind of add to the groove of the pieces. And then I also wanted to incorporate my love of free improvisation. And my last goal was to get through the year without speaking on a microphone, which I just barely failed. Boom. So in my research with the classical side of the composition, I really wanted to check out Bela Bartok primarily, just because I've always found that he's had a clear sense of melody, and it can sound simplistic, but the way he utilizes the simplicity is always unexpected. And I wanted to try and capture a little bit of that. And then I was also influenced by Arnold Schoenberg, just because whenever you hear his piece, you can tell that there's some unfamiliar harmonies maybe to most people, but it always comes across so clearly. And finally, I loved the piece by Olivier Messiaen, Quartet for the End of Time. So I spent a lot of time lifting voicings and melodies from that piece. And then for the strings side of things, I was using mainly rhythms discussed in Danilo's workshops and also the percussion class that we had to take earlier in the semester. And also I've been checking out through all the forums and everything, checking out a lot of like Cuban bata music and other world percussion musics. And I wanted to try and take a little bit of that and incorporate it in a kind of a different way into this piece. And another reason was because it allows for polyrhythms to be heard, or different sides of the beat to be heard simultaneously, and it can open up a composition to more intricate rhythms, I guess, or just different rhythms. And then for the free, I've always free improvisation like Ornick and like Taishan's somebody I really look up to. And I really wanted to have his composition. So one way was having a free improvisation whole piece intertwined through composed. So for example, there's one where there's a free solo over a drone. There's another section that open solo, completely unaccompanied, and then also free within a form, and bar lines, and just, having no bound within a form. So I'd like to thank the band. It's always exciting to have original music come to light and or come to life, sorry. And these guys all killed it. So yeah, thank you, Isaac, Anthony, Netta, who also acted as a producer partway through, Laith, Jerson, Dan, and Marta. Thank you so much. And before I start, I'd like to share the inspiration behind this piece. So in February, I believe, I was like stuck. I had no music. I had an idea of what I wanted to accomplish, but no music yet. And so I was checking out voicings and just sitting at my MIDI keyboard, and took a Facebook break, and unfortunately came across some sad news. A friend of my brother's passed away from my hometown. He was just a teenager. I didn't know him personally, but it put me in a really strange headspace at the time, because it brought up a lot of emotions from the past. Like, I had something similar happen to me when I was his age as well. Yeah, I saw how a small town can rally around something like that. So within an hour of hearing that news, I composed the second movement and the third movement in their entirety. And I've never had that happen before. So I'm going to play the music now. Oops. Facebook. Other stuff. I have a problem.
Hayden Farrar. Woo! Clap for Hayden. Owen, you want to start?
So we heard, did we hear 4 of the 5 movements now?
No, there were 5 in there. I just didn't
Okay,
split them up
I see.
properly. Yeah.
Okay, wasn't sure. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I thought that was the ending that I heard before, so I just wanted to make sure because it was confusing looking at the screen.
Right.
I really enjoyed this piece. I got to hear it the other day working with you, and again today. And I think you were really successful in blending these different elements that you were researching and learning from, and also, you know, hearing about the motivation that got you started breaking into writing the piece added a different dimension to the reflective mood of a lot of it and so on. But even without knowing that, it's very powerful and it's something like you almost want to listen to in a quiet space and really focus on the details and without air conditioning and, you know, other things. But it's really great to share it in its entirety here. And I think it's a very successful and ambitious piece for you to write. One of the things about it, it stands out among all the presentations that we've heard. You're really working on, I know there are sources for this language, but it's really becoming an original musical language. It's not standard jazz. It's not all analyzable in the kind of jazz theory ways and things like that. And we hear that in some of the other pieces that we've heard as well by other people, but that's something I encourage you to keep exploring that because it's really working and making sense for you as an improviser, band leader, ensemble player, and composer, you know. And this has a lot of originality to this piece. It's not like anything I can think of or I've ever heard. Even though I know your source material very well, I don't hear it in an obvious way. I hear it more in a blended, subtle, personal way, which is great. I guess my question would be, I had 2 questions. Have you written pieces, you know, this ambitious or more so in the past? And do you think you will continue in the future? Yeah.
No, I mainly have only written for like trio settings, piano trio, where I've used some of the harmonic ideas in this piece, but not as in depth as this. And yeah, I really want to continue along this path because I feel like I just like scratched the surface this year. And I mean, you know, it's a whole rabbit hole you can go down. So I'd really like to pursue it in the future.
Yeah, I really encourage you to keep writing pieces that don't just say, okay, I used that material, but think of other ways to use the material, other levels of energy, other settings, others maybe small, large, different kinds of things, and keep working in this language because it's really working. I also wanted to compliment, is that Netta that's playing the tenor saxophone solo? That was very nice. Yeah. Great solo and really good group interactions to support that solo. I mean, as an ensemble, it was really beautiful playing. So, thanks. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I agree too. Netta, beautiful playing, beautiful. And I wanted to ask you, is this mixed already, or is this the final mix we're hearing?
No, we've been struggling with the mix over the last few days. And
because one of the first thing I really, while I was hearing, I was hoping to hear a little bit more of the sound of the strings and the sound, even the sound of the saxophone.
Right.
You know, she has such a beautiful tone, and all of you. And I think you can really kind of work on how to bring out that quality and make the piece really speak, because such a beautiful, pensive, you know, introspective mood that. I felt the sound wasn't really up to what you...
For sure.
Right?
Yeah,
so you have
planned
planned to what's the process in that regard?
Well, I know the sounds I want. I just, we've been having trouble getting them to come through in the piece. I've been working with Kareem. He's put a lot of hours in, but we're still just trying to... I almost have to take it like every, 4 bars and at a time. And like, because I guess because of the strings are... they have so many different textures and different volumes. Yeah. It's kind of hard to mix, a full drum set with that. And, but yeah, I plan on bringing it in to either keep bringing it back to Kareem, or I have some people in Toronto that might be able to help me as well. Yeah,
I will definitely, advise and encourage you to invest more time to really bring out the warmth sound of that of the ensemble.
For sure.
We're really adding a lot to what you wrote. What's the and the other question I have? Why Eternal Bliss? You didn't explain that.
Yeah, well, when I heard about Kent passing away, I ended up looking up his obituary, and I guess a relative of his at some point said, "May he rest in eternal bliss," and that just
Resonated with you.
Yeah, it resonated.
Wow,
Yeah.
beautiful piece. Congratulations,
Thanks.
Hayden. Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They touched on the things that I was going to ask.
Mhm.
The other thing that I wanted to just ask, future work, are you thinking of writing for even larger ensembles?
It's always been in the back of my head, and I've dabbled with it a little bit, but I think having gone through this experience, it's made me really want to, pursue it further. But I still want to be able to write for a large ensemble, but still have it feel like a trio, or have the interaction of a trio, and that's always been something I've wanted to strive for. So I plan on
Go for it.
going for it.
Go for it.
Thanks.
Yeah, Hayden, it's been a great pleasure to have been your advisor this semester. And it's amazing to hear this piece come into full bloom, because when we started, it was just really embryonic. And we worked on a lot of different, everything from orchestration to instrumentation and forms. And
Sorry, I forgot to thank you too for all that. That really expanded my knowledge of composition.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you. And there's been said a lot already that I agree with. I think the bass playing is really beautiful also. It's really earthy and solid, and it conveys a lot of emotion. And it really centers the whole piece for me, maybe because I'm a bass player myself, but it really, your solo in the middle is sort of brings it all together in a way for me. The music is it draws me in. It makes me go inside, and it kind of suspends time for me. Okay. My compliment to the group, to everybody that played, Neta and Isaac, Anthony, Leith, everybody. The group improvisation was really, really amazing. I thought the way you were so tuned into each other and tuned into the piece. So keep doing it. Okay, I can't wait to hear your next project.
Right,
Thanks
you.
so much.
Thanks.
Okay, Hayden Farrar.